Today I would like to consider an idea which seems at first sight to be the clearest of all, the concept of space. Classical science is based on a clear distinction between space and the physical world. Space is the uniform medium in which things are arranged in three dimensions, and in which they remain the same regardless of the position they occupy. Thus, space is composed of a variety of different regions and dimensions, which can no longer be thought of as interchangeable and which affect certain changes in the bodies which move around within them. We can no longer draw an absolute distinction between space and the things which occupy it, nor indeed between the pure idea of space and the concrete spectacle it presents to our senses. Those who look closely will get the feel of a world in which regions of space are separated by the time it takes to move our gaze from one to the other, a world in which being is not given but rather emerges over time. In the footsteps of science and painting, philosophy and above all, psychology seem to have woken up to the fact that our relationship to space is not that of a pure disembodied subject to a distant object, but rather that of being which dwells in space relating to its natural habitat. For us as beings who walk upon the earth, the horizontal plane is where our most important movements and activities take place. Psychologists of this school of pure intellect put down a natural property of a perceptual field, that of embodied beings who are forced to move upon the surface of the earth. In psychology, as in geometry, the notion of a single unified space entirely open to disembodied intellect has been replaced by the certain privileged directions. These are closely related to our distinctive bodily features and our situation as beings thrown into the world. The most straightforward example of an abstract space supported by the hippocampus within the brain that parallels the organization of physical space is the organization of memories in time. Theories of episodic memory emphasize the idea that memories are represented in a specific temporal as well as spatial context. We come across the idea that rather than a mind and a body, man is a mind with a body. A being who can only get to the truth of things because its body is, as it were, embedded in those things. Yet, in emphasizing that people can reconsider or at least evaluate their way of experiencing the world, I am eventually led to the questions about the notion of individual freedom. And since I don't believe that freedom exists in the modern sense, that one could ever fully be autonomous or liberated, the paradox is that I'm presenting a model of seeing and also facing the fact that my model cannot be a solution but rather a question. Maybe a step in the process of some sort of self-realization or self-reflection. Art and its institutions are not holy areas where you step out and all rules are off so that you can do weird things that you do not have to account for. I think that having an art experience is stepping into the world. It is having reality. Historically, there have been two major views about the role of the hippocampus. One view argues that the hippocampus is critical for memory, our ability to retrieve both specific experiences and general knowledge gained from them. The other sees the hippocampus as the hub of a navigation system, supporting the brain's capacity to calculate routes for traversing physical space. Recent studies have shown that, consistent with its key role in temporally organized memory, the hippocampus parses temporally structured experiences into representations of moments in time.